Hey everybody, Kelly Engineering here, and welcome to episode 31 of Ragnamod 5. In between episodes, I was quite busy. I had the squeezer and fermenter up at the end of last episode, but I wasn't actually supplying it with anything. So I got a bunch of sugarcane and a bunch of hemp seeds, and I have them running through the squeezer and the fermenter to make me plant oil and ethanol. The plant oil and the ethanol can be mixed together to make biodiesel, and biodiesel is definitely going to be one of the things that we're using this episode. I also completely finished going through the oil in the mining dimension, and I have 13 million. I have 14,000 buckets of oil. I also had it running a little bit to make me the lubricant, diesel, and gasoline, and I'm actually going to continue that right now. There we go. This power is probably not going to keep up, so we'll add another one here. And I also started work on the factory. I'm not going to do a Kelly construction episode on this factory because it's not based off anything. It's just a design I threw together very quickly, and I don't have nearly enough bricks right now. I'm using only immersive engineering bricks in this factory. So I have the hemp crate, I have the asphalt, blast bricks, coke bricks, and concrete. So yeah, I'm only going to be using I keep wanting to say industrial, but immersive engineering bricks for this thing. And I could use the painter, and to be honest, I had considered it. Unfortunately, whenever I finish building this wall, I want to copy it using the RF Tools builder over to that side. And if it's painted brick, the builder won't move it. So yeah, that's something I had to think about, and that's why I'm not using any of the painted bricks. I'm actually using only the blast bricks, and I still have 10 stacks. I could actually complete a large section of that wall, but I'm not really worried about it. But in this episode, we're going to continue with immersive engineering and immersive tech, and I'm going to hook up the next thing in the line for our squeezer and fermenter, and I'll be right back with you. Alright, here we are. I have the refinery running. It is filled with plant oil and ethanol, and it is making me biodiesel. The biodiesel is going to be used for the diesel generator, and the diesel generator is a very complicated block. So we're going to type in the diesel generator, see what it looks like. Yeah, and that's what it looks like. I may be thinking of the arc furnace. That's the most complicated one. Regardless, this is the diesel generator. And a diesel generator takes 1 bucket of biodiesel, or regular diesel, and produces me power. And this is going to be one of the primary things that I'm using in order to power this factory. I'm probably going to have 3 diesel generators running. It's going to be very loud, so it's going to be in like that back corner of the factory. But that's what the purpose of this biodiesel is. I'm going to get everything ready while this is making me biodiesel to make the diesel generator, and I'll probably make extend out the floor a little bit just so I have somewhere to place it. And here is the diesel generator. So the diesel generator, I put some vibrant capacitor banks up top because this thing won't work properly unless it has somewhere to put the energy. So there is no internal interface for it. There is a place where you can put a lever to start and stop the thing. And just like everything else, you can hit it with the engineer's hammer and you can invert it. So let's get this thing started. I have right here my biodiesel, and I'm going to just insert it. Oh yeah, sorry, it's probably a little loud. It's loud for me, but I don't know how it's going to be for you. But yeah, it is working, and I am getting about 4096 in. So yeah, it's generating about 4096. Very nice, very nice. This thing does go through fuel rather quickly, so make sure that you have a decent surplus of it. But with that, I'm actually going to turn this off because I wanted to see that it had the 4096 going in. And these are high voltage machines, so if you're going to pick off power, make sure that you have the correct. Wow, this thing is just way too loud. I can barely think. But yeah, it is high voltage, so make sure that you have the high voltage capacitors going up at the top of it. Yeah, the high voltage wire relays or wire connectors. Make sure that those are on top before you try picking off some power to it. Once this thing stops, what I'm going to do is I'm going to see how it works with the standard diesel as well. because the standard diesel from industrial petroleum, if you put it inside a thermal engineering, well, actually, we'll just type it in here. So over here you have the biodiesel, but with the immersive petroleum diesel, if you look inside the compression dynamo, you see it's going to make you 1 million RF. But with the biodiesel in the compression dynamo, it's only going to make you 500,000. I want to see if that applies to the diesel generator as well as soon as this thing runs out. Wow, it's... Oh, this thing has an internal buffer of 24 buckets. I forgot about that. So, yeah, I have to wait for 24 buckets to go through before this thing shuts off. But once it shuts off, we'll plug in the standard industrial petroleum diesel and see how much power we get into it. Cool, cool. It is finally turned off, so we're going to hook in the... It's probably going to be 4096 again. Because, oh, yeah, it is going to be 4096 again. So I'm actually going to turn this off, and I'm going to rerun another experiment. I'm going to make some high voltage wire relays and an actual stop saying industrial, immersive engineering capacitor banks, and I'm going to see what the actual power output is of the diesel generator with both liquids. Awesome, so I have a high voltage capacitor, high voltage wire connector, and high voltage wire, which I cannot touch right now. I didn't insulate it, but I'm going to try this again. Actually, first, before we do that, let's turn down the music. Blocks. It's probably blocks. And we'll turn down Industrial Craft 2. Alright, so. Oh yeah, that's much better. Okay, so wow, it is generating a lot of power very quickly. And actually, this is going to fill up this capacitor. There we go, 1 million. Oh, yep, see, that's what happens when you touch it. And, ouch. Yeah, so, don't touch the wires. I'm going to wait for this to finish, and then I'm going to hook in. You see that I got 2 million. Geez, I haven't even been... I should have started my timer. But yeah, this thing is going to be completely full before it even runs out of fuel. So I'm going to have to take care of that. Hook up the biodiesel and see how we do from there. You know, I realized I'm being very silly, and I'm just going to see how much power I generate with one bucket. There we go. With one bucket. See whether or not diesel or biodiesel produces more. Alright, so 1 bucket of diesel makes 117.4. And get rid of you. Place down my other HV capacitor. Right there. And we'll see how much the biodiesel makes. Stay clear of the wires. Oh yeah, so only low voltage and medium voltage wire can be insulated. The high voltage cannot. So that's something you are going to have to worry about if you decide to go... There we go. If you decide to go down this route. Alright, yeah, so the diesel makes a heck of a lot more power than the biodiesel does. However, biodiesel you can just make. All it requires is plants, really. And with a garden cloche, also from Immersive Engineering, then yeah, you can have an infinite amount of hemp and whatever you decide to make for your plant oil and your ethanol. So yeah, I'm going to go the biodiesel route until I have infinite amounts of crude oil. And once I have infinite amount of crude oil, or infinite amounts of diesel, yeah, I'll switch to diesel, because I am going to have this factory running for quite a while. What my end game for this factory is anything that my void miners pick up, my void ore miners rather pick up, is going to be immediately sent to this factory to be broken down and smelted up there before going to where I moved over the Trellick Towers. And I did move over the location of the Trellick Tower, so this is going to be a difficult build because I did all the calculations for the Trellick Tower, and it is going to go well beyond world height. So I had to make it, instead of as close to a 1-to-1 scale, I had to go 1-to-2, and as such, that's going to make things quite a tight fit. So we'll see where we go with the Trellick Tower, but we're going to move on with Immersive. Alright, so the next item that we're going to be working with is the Crusher. So the Crusher, all you have to do is just throw some stuff into it, and it will immediately start crushing. I have it being powered via my high voltage wire connector, and it's being connected via this high voltage wire relay. So the difference between the high voltage wire relay and connector is only one connection can be on the connector, but multiple connections, as you can see here, can be on the relay. And yeah, I have them going to 2 crushers right now. And after we finish crushing all of this stuff, we're going to build an arc furnace right here, and the arc furnace is going to take care of all that stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to... Oh, should probably turn my magnet off too. Did I go over that? No, I didn't. I made a bunch of signalum in between episodes because I needed netherrack in order to make all of these blast bricks. So I upgraded my satchel to signalum level, and I upgraded my fluxo magnet to signalum level as well, just so I could hold more stuff and absorb more stuff. But regardless, I'm going to throw in... There we go. You see that it's already generating a bunch of stuff, and it's throwing it onto the conveyor belt. So I have this conveyor belt right now going through on this vertical conveyor, and then it is dropping conveyor. And the dropping conveyor is just putting it right immediately in this wooden storage crate directly below it. So, yeah. That's really all there is to it. I could make these covered right now, and if they're covered, then you can get as close as you want to the items, and you won't pick them up. That's, but I don't think that applies to a magnet, so I've ignored it for now. Once the factory is all set up, the second level is going to be all of the ores coming from the void ore miners and just being dropped via chutes into the crushers. And from there, the conveyor belt will go immediately to the arc buffer storage and then the arc furnace in order to be smelted down. So yeah, that's I'm going to continue crushing. I'm going to build up the arc furnace. Oh, that's too bad. Oh, this will also crush mobs and you. So be careful around it. So I'm constructing the arc furnace right now, and I just wanted to go over a quick little thing right now. So you look at the hologram for it, and this is a block of steel, and I'm holding a block of steel right now, but it's a thermal foundation. In last episode I mentioned that you have to chisel, or that I had to chisel the block of steel into the Immersive Engineering equivalent in order for the quest to complete. That does not apply for the holograms when you're constructing these. So you see that it has a white border right now, and it has accepted, because no red border has appeared around it, it has accepted the thermal foundation block of steel in its construction. So you don't really have to worry about using a chisel to convert anything whenever you're constructing stuff in Immersive Engineering. And here it is, we're ready to begin. All you need to do is hit the cauldron with the engineer's hammer, and bam, you have the arc furnace. Now I love this block, not necessarily because of what it does. Oh, to get rid of the hologram, all you do is shift right click and it'll release the hologram. But I love this block because it reminds me of a boss from my favorite game, Super Mario RPG, the very first one for the Super Nintendo. There's a boss called Gun Yoke, and this block has always reminded me of Gun Yoke. Anyway, this is the setup that I have for the arc furnace, and I have conveyor belts going into this vertical covered conveyor that goes into the left input over here on top of the arc furnace. And you see there are 2 inputs, so that's because this one is for the actual stuff that's going to be smelted, and this one is for the additives. And if you look at the interface for this, these are inputs, these are additives. If you wanted to make steel, then you would input iron, and you would have an additive of coal, and bam, you would make steel. And so I'm not going to worry about the additives. The only thing I want the arc furnace for is for smelting the ores, nothing else. So yeah, we're going to keep that in mind, which means we're going to have to be a little, we're going to have to be very careful, because you see I have these diamonds and redstone in here. I don't need diamonds and redstones into the arc furnace because those are additives, not actual inputs. So I'm going to take care of that in just a second. But first thing I want to go over is this slot right here. So these 3 slots are for graphite electrodes, and these are the slots in the interface. So the graphite electrodes are required in order for this to work, and they actually have a durability on them, so you need to have some maintenance. Oh, whoa. So over here in the back is where you have the power inputs, and right here is where slag comes out. So I have slag going into this conveyor belt, and this is going to go into this wooden storage crate when all is said and done. So yeah, I'm going to go make those graphite electrodes, and if you look at the recipe for it, graphite electrodes, whoops, my bad. It doesn't even show me. Alright, well, there are 2 recipes for the graphite electrodes. The only one we're going to use right here. The only one we're going to use is the engineer's workbench. The reason being is because 4 HOP graphite ingots will make me a graphite electrode at 50% integrity. So it already has some problems with it. But with the engineer's workbench, 4 HOP graphite ingots make me a full 100% graphite electrode. So that is the one that we're going to be making. I'm going to go make this furnace, and then we're going to go over how to actually make this HOP graphite. Alright, so highly ordered pyrolytic graphite, HOP, complex highly compressed carbon material used in special engineering. So it's created by compressing 8 pieces of coke dust in an industrial squeezer. So the coke dust is made by throwing coal coke into the crusher. You see that? Here it is. Here's the coke dust coming out, and I don't think that's going to be enough for me. But I am concerned about something, because looking at the coke dust in the squeezer, it's not making me anything. There's no input, there's no output. Well, there is an input, but there's no output, so I don't know what's going on with that. Yeah, it's a 1-for-1. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on with that, but I'm going to go throw this into the squeezer and see what happens. Alright, here in the squeezer. Yeah, it's doing nothing. Okay, there it is. It is making the graphite dust. Awesome. It only made me 1, though, because it takes 8 in order to make the graphite dust. So, yeah, I'm going to go... I don't even know what happened to my coke. I'm going to have to go make some more cool coke. Alright. Never mind, I had it right here. So, yep. I'm going to throw all of this into the crusher, and I'll be back with you once I have enough HOP graphite dust in order to make the ingots. And the ingots is really easy. You just smelt it anywhere, really. And you'll have the HOP graphite ingot. But once I have those electrodes, I'll be back with you so we can see the arc furnace in action. There we go. I got my graphite electrodes. Yep, I got my graphite electrodes. Going to head back over to the arc furnace, and we are going to put these in. And go over one more thing. So there, we got our 3 graphite electrodes. You see that the multi-block updated over here, and I'm going to put this extracting conveyor belt and the engineer's wire cutters right here, and I want it to go this way. There we go. So you see the stuff is flying out right now, but if you hit it, there we go. If you hit it with the engineer's wire cutters, it will change the tick rate, so it's just going to extract 1 every second. Everything's going in. The arc furnace is working. Oh, that is beautiful. You see how quickly it's smelting everything? I love it. Alright, so it is smelting everything up right now. And it has these in the these 24 iron ingots in the output right now. And the integrity is going down all the time while the machine is operating. So after this goes through, I actually need to get out my conveyors and hook up an output for the iron. I didn't even think about that. The output is right here. I'm just going to run it all the way to this wooden crate as well. I'm surprised no slag has been created yet. Alright, there we go. I just attached the conveyor belts, and all the iron is going out into this wooden crate. I realized why I wasn't making slag, and it's so simple in retrospect. Slag is only created if you make steel. So since I won't be making steel with this arc furnace, it's, yeah, that's all she wrote. So I'm going to be having plenty of iron ingots being made. Oh, that's a lot of iron. And, yeah, that's the arc furnace. With that, I'm actually going to call this an episode. It feels like I didn't really accomplish much, but this was a lot of steel that needed to be created. So, yeah, with that, I'm Kelly Engineering, and hope that you did enjoy this episode, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.